Speaking of health and wellness, I bet all of you guys can, you look up at the sky and you see all these lines in the sky. Surely that's not poisoning us, Michael. Surely, right? Chemtrails. Talk to me about. There's controversy regarding chemtrails. Are they real? Are they not? Do they harm us? Do they not? So talk to me about what you know about chemtrails.
So I think that one of the questions that most people have to ask themselves is, if you go into grandma's photo book and in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, you can't find one contrail that lasted longer than 2 to 3 minutes and cover the entire sky to where you can no longer see the sun, then why are we seeing it now? What's changed? Don't tell me atmospheric pressure. Don't tell me that it's global warming. Don't tell me that they started putting some type of dilution in the gas to give it better engine care. There is definitely a reason why you're starting to see state senators that are filing paperwork to ban geoengineering and air traffic pollution. If it didn't exist, then why are there senators and Republican nationally represented congressmen that are now filing paperwork to end spraying over the American public and geoengineering? I just saw it in Florida. There was a lawmaker that had just proposed a bill to ban using chemicals being sprayed in the atmosphere, whether it's for geoengineering, whether it's for control of the crops. And again, I think everybody has to ask themselves, who has to benefit? Like you said, who has to benefit from putting chemicals inside of the sky? And go look at the levels in 1970 in Mount Shasta versus where it is now, the levels of aluminum and mercury that they're finding in soil samples. It should be zero. And they're finding 20, 30,000 micrograms of aluminum inside of Mount Shasta's soil. So I also want to be very, very clear that I understand that where I come from, right, in the health and wellness space, and Alan Johnston, the chief technology officer of the V3, which is the air purifier that we have on site of our website. I'm going to show you something, Amber, that I normally don't put it on the website. I want to show you guys this.
Okay.
I was blessed enough to be able to stop by the studio this morning and be able to go into my old closet and be able to find this. I'm going to put this on just while I'm talking. And
okay.
what I want to do is I really want your listeners to be able to see something that's very special here. Most of the air purifier companies that are out there on the market today, they're just using HEPA filters, and HEPA filters are not enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this little makeshift house. We're going to pretend like this is Amber May's house, okay? Anything that is floating around in your airspace that has a positive charge, okay? When we were children, we would play with magnets, right? The negative and the positive, they would attract onto each other. Most air purifier companies today are not taking into consideration heavy metals, barium, aluminum, strontium, things that would be making it a whirlwind of health issues inside of your lungs. They put an HVAC system inside of your house, and if you're very lucky, maybe they install a UV light. But what's happening is when you open up your blinds in the morning and you can see the pollen, the dead skin cells, mycotoxins, mold spores, you name it, 66 pages of pollution. You can go read about every single one of them. When you can open up your blinds or take a flashlight at night and see all of those particles that are floating around in your breathable airspace, you'll start to understand how important it is to reverse sick building syndrome. And now 25 years ago, there was actually a book that's called Our Houses Are Making Us Sick. Mm-hmm. And the remedy for indoor pollution, or what they called SBS, which was sick building syndrome, the answer was to go outside and get fresh air. Well, mm-hmm. What happens when you've got 3,700 Amazon trucks with diesel exhaust fluid and UPS and drones, and you've got razor blades in the air, which that's a conversation, Amber, for another day, talking about how many chemicals are in tires and all of the ceramic brake dust that's being released into the air over every major highway. If you went up 900 to 1,600 meters and took air samples of the chemicals from the tires that are hitting the asphalt, hundreds of millions of Americans with between 4 to 18 tires, depending on whether it's a big wig or if it's just your 4x4 mom van that you're taking your kid to soccer practice in. But what you're seeing happening here is all of that pollution is now starting to become so airborne inside of your home And I'm going to show you what our company does 24 hours a day when you are using the V3. I just activated those two little antennas, and it's creating what's known as bipolar ionization. It
Oh
is
my
going
gosh.
through every single room in the house, and it's dropping it down to the ground as a biologically inert substance. You don't need a filter. You don't need to move the machine from room to room. You take that one little V3 that's sitting right behind me, this guy right here, and that will go up
We
to a
can't see it
3,000.
behind you. We can't see it. Oh, there it
Right
is.
there. So that little unit can actually sit on top of a shelf, a bookcase, or you can put it on top of your refrigerator. Has 0 filters, nothing that ever needs to be changed other than the PCO cell that's inside of there. And that unit will do upstairs, downstairs, up to 3,500 square feet. So you don't need to put one in every room of the house.
And do
And
you need to have the doors open to every
no,
room? No.
no, because it follows the natural airflow. And
Oh,
again, so if you talk to the scientist, if you talk to any of the chief technology officers, they speak in like HTML coding. And I kind of asked them, I was like, if I'm a lay person, I'm not an engineer. Okay. Let's say I'm just a stay-at-home dad and I want to explain this to my viewers. What separates the V3 from every single air purifier on the market? And the answer that he gave me was the most simple answer that I could ever bestow upon people. And that is, imagine if a HEPA filter is like a rat trap. You put a little piece of cheese on the rat trap, and the mouse or the rat smells the cheese. It's coming through the house, and the rat trap is equivalent to like a HEPA filter, right? So we're waiting for that pollution or pathogen to come to the filter to get trapped. Whereas the V3 air purifier is like the cat. That's the cat that's going into every room in the house, and it's hunting that pathogen, that bacteria, that mold spore, that viral infection that's laying on top of your granite countertop. We're proactively going out and looking for that pathogen and not waiting for it to come. So to circle back, whatever it is, Amber, whether it's soil sample destroying, whether it's heavy metals, whether it's them trying to save the world from geoengineering, I believe that there is 100% 0 chemicals that should ever be sprayed inside of our breathable airspace. And I can tell you, if you've traveled the world, there are certain countries where you go visit where you will never see a contrail that lasts for 3.5 hours and spreads across 3 state lines.
yes. I am very much in tune with wanting to have a healthy home. And again, you're right. All of this starts in the home, the foods that we buy, the products we bring in the home. So if people want to know more about what you do, learn more about you, where should they go? Should they go to the website?
100%. I think, and anybody that
Airwater.
wants to go to airwaterhealing.com. And, anybody that watches Amber, we're going to use a promo code MAY, M-A-Y, give you guys a big discount, free shipping. We ship anywhere in the world. I think they do charge if we ship outside of the United States, but with that coupon code, they'll get free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. And if they use that promo code, we'll give them a big discount. And if they have questions, they can email us. Our number's on there. But I tell everybody, trust, but also verify. Just because I'm telling you that this is what I do in my home, go and do the research, read the reviews. I have people that will come up to me and they're like, oh, I saw you on Dr. So-and-so. I saw you on this show. I saw you on that show. But, it was my next door neighbor who bought one of your machines 4 years ago at a pet convention, and it changed their entire home. And they're like, I want one. And I'm like, that's great. You don't trust the doctor. You don't trust the #1 news media guy in the world, but you trust your neighbor. That's great. As long as we continue to share, that is the most important thing is, to trust and verify.
Trust and verify. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for being on our program today and spending time with us. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you as well. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for having the courage to go out there and speak your mind.
Thank you for joining us today on the Amber May Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if there's someone that came to mind, please share this episode with them. Please follow us on Telegram at The Amber May Show, True Social Amber May, Frank Socially Amber May, or Clout Hub. I can't wait to see you next time on the Amber May Show.